This is an update on the 300-gallon tank in the garage with 27 koi that were videoed on the 17th of December 2024. These two are two of my biggest fry from 24. 38 and 39 cm at 7 months old. In the tank are the two surviving Eden koi sakai grow out showers, which I will deal with first and then go on to my own homebred fry, and the last three are Ginrin goshkis from Malcolm at Koi Water Garden, which I'm growing on. I wrongly assumed that the biggest koi in the tank would be the Eden Koi Pond Grow Out Sakai Tosai. How wrong was I? I could not believe that my homebred fry had outgrown the Sakai by 8 cm with the biggest, and comparing the second biggest by 11 cm. This is an update on the Eden Koi Pond Sakai Grow Out. These arrived on the 7th of July, and on the 17th of December I did a measure up and a video. Unfortunately, I lost the kahaku who managed to swim over the weir in the sieve in the first week. My fault, as there was a piece of wood to stop it happening, but it failed to do the job, and the kahaku is history. But it's sorted out now. The best shower was found floating upside down, dead as a dodo, a couple of days later. Why is it always the best one? No marks or parasites. I scraped and checked, nothing at all. The remaining two are in a 300-gallon tank in the garage, heated at 18C currently. The filter system is an ultra sieve to a vari pump and then to a 3-tier 2-foot shower. The showers are in with 25 other koi for company. Most are my homegrown fry. The Benny on the showers is suffering from a lack of daylight in the garage, and the polycarbonate covering has gone a bit opaque, which does not help at all. But what a difference 6 months can make to the sumi, which is totally different. I had a job to pick out which koi were which, and the sake grow out, as there are some of my own showers in there, and these are this year's fry as well. I had a job to tell them apart. 0 to 8 months. How big are the fry now? Can you guess? The fry are 8 to 6 months old, and the size is quite amazing. I had to concentrate on the Benny pattern to find the right koi. I added up all the koi lengths and it came to 4.4 meters in 300 gallons. If you think I'm just a keyboard warrior who talks the talk but cannot walk the walk, then think again, as these fry results here speak for themselves. The Benny is suffering from a lack of daylight in the garage, and the polycarbonate covering has gone a bit opaque, which does not help at all. Once these koi come into the daylight, they will look totally different as the Benny will darken down. But what a difference 6 months can make to the sumi. It's totally different. I had a job to pick out which koi were the sakai grow out ones, as some of my showers in there. And these are this year's fry. You cannot call them fry at 39 cm. In the end, I concentrated on just the Benny pattern. I've ordered a Spider Farmer LED grow lights and a sheet of clear plastic polycarbonate to replace the opaque polycarbonate to address the Benny issue. And I will do an update in the spring. So subscribe to make sure to hit the bell so you get a notification of when it comes out. To be continued. Thank you. This video is in a new format in the form of questions and answer sessions. I want to grow small koi into big koi, so how do I grow big koi like you do? I've seen some amazing results in the superb growth in 7 months, part 1. Hi, I'm Richard. Well, today is your lucky day. I'm introducing a new 300-gallon koi growth mini-series. If you want your koi to grow, to improve, you have to make better choices in selecting and raising your koi. But here's the thing, I'm not going to give you a list of individual body traits or a list of things to do. What you need to understand is why a requirement is essential to good koi growth. Brilliant! I have it all worked out. I've got my own 300-gallon tank with my own ideas on how to grow koi on. I have based this koi growth mini-series on my successful 300-gallon grow-on tank in the garage, which anyone can replicate. It's not the only way to grow koi, but you can see from the results it works in practice. It's not just a theory. I've broken the series into various parts to make it more manageable to video and watch. Please ask any questions in the comments below and I will try and answer all questions and comments. I've seen loads of videos on YouTube where the Japanese breeders get fabulous results from their unfiltered mud ponds, so I'm going to do the same thing. What do you think? I think you need a large filter for 300 gallons. The reason why unfiltered mud ponds work is because the stocking rate is tiny. For every koi there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of gallons of water per koi. But you're putting several koi in 300 gallons, so a filter is essential. There are a number of essential requirements for good growth. These are listed in order of importance: a mechanical filter, a life support system for your koi or large, mature pond filter, warm water, oxygen, fresh water, food, an auto feeder, and the koi. I will start with the most important first. The koi's life support system or pond filter. On my setup, it's a 600mm shower with 3 tiers with a pile of ceramic and plastic media. Please note I've rounded off the corners on the splash return so that the koi cannot injure themselves if they jump. If your filter is not big enough, you will never grow koi well, as you will always be limited by the size of your filter and your poor water parameters. This, in my humble opinion, is the #1 requirement in growing big koi. The Japanese breeders don't heat their mud ponds, so why should I? The summers are a lot hotter in Japan for a lot longer than in the UK. You don't have to heat, but you do if you want a long growing season. The trouble is the water temperature in the UK is not high enough for long enough. So you need to heat up the water to 24°C for good growth and for a long period. Warm water is the second most important thing, as the water temperature governs the koi's metabolic rate, and this governs the koi feeding. There is also a 300-watt titanium heater currently set at 18°C. Subscribe so that you don't miss any video with more valuable information in it. Thank you. In December. In the summer this goes up to 24°C and the koi are going full bore, and so is your filter. But it needs to be a stable temperature, not 24°C during the day and 15°C at night, which can often happen in the spring and in the autumn. If the temperature is up and down, it stresses the koi, and our aim is to have a stress-free pond. A stable pond is the key for good growth. So a heater is essential to iron out those highs and lows. The rule of thumb is 1 kilowatt per 1,000 gallons of water. What size koi are you going to grow on? I'm going to grow on 5 tosi really big. Personally, I think 3 tosi would get you better results if you grow them to a maximum of 40C. They would need to eat 3% body weight if you use the guide in the description. You would see the weight as about 1 kilo. So they would need to eat 300 grams a day. So that's 900 grams a day. 25 litres of Helix 13 will treat 170 grams of food a day. So you need at least 150 grams of media to treat 900 grams of food a day. Now if you had 5 tosi, you would need at least 250 litres to treat 1,700 grams of food a day, or for the extra 2 tosi, another 100 litres of media in your filter. My tank is a fibreglass 300 gallon or 1,400 litres, which is twice as long as it is wide, and it's the ideal shape rather than square, insulated with 25mm kingspan. If you intend to heat the water, why waste your money? The pump is 1,000 litre per hour variable speed and is currently running at 60%. So it's turning over the pond approximately 4 times an hour. The variable speed is ideal on a grow-on tank, as you can turn it up when you need it and you can turn it down when you don't. With a shower, if you have a spike with ammonia or nitrite, you can turn up the pump so that the bacteria has a second chance to convert the ammonia and nitrite. What are you going to do when you get an ammonia or nitrite spike? Oh, that's easy. I've got it all worked out. I will stop feeding until the readings are 0. You need to watch. You will regret not following these 5 koi air tips. You need to control the spike and carry on feeding at the same rate. Otherwise, your filter will go from feast to famine, slowing the maturing of the filter down. I really need your support. Hit the like button to drive the video to more koi keepers. Thank you. You can increase the turnover rate on the shower so the bacteria gets a second bite of the cherry. A warning, do not increase a turnover on a moving bed filter, as the moving bed needs time to digest, for want of a better word, the ammonia and nitrite. I'm going to feed sake hikari. I will throw in a cupful 3 times a day, one before I go to work, the second one at lunchtime, and the third one when I'm home from work. I'm glad to see that you're feeding the best koi food, but it's not the most efficient use of an expensive food to throw in 3 large mugfuls of food a day. You're creating a huge spike of ammonia and nitrite, and the koi will be full after the first 10 minutes of feeding. So most of the expensive food will end up in the filter as waste. I've seen a video on YouTube, and that's how the Japanese breeders do it. The Japanese koi breeders do throw in small amounts of food to check the condition of their koi. If you look at the mud ponds carefully, you will see that they all have auto feeders. Koi are like sheep. They are constantly grazing for food as they have no stomach. So a little and often will fit in with their natural digestive system. An auto feeder is an essential bit of kit to enable you to feed a little and often. It also needs to be regular as clockwork, and it also is essential to increase the amount of feeding slowly and consistently. Which auto feeder do you use, and how much do you feed? I use a Fishmate P7000. It is a fish auto feeder. I set it on a frequent feed setting to deliver 10 feeds between 7 AM and 8 PM and 2 feeds each. So approximately 20 grams per feed, so 200 grams a day, 1400 grams a week. You are what you eat, which is also true of koi. The best food, sake hikari balance, is my go-to food for growth. If you can't afford sake, go for Cuttlebrook Premium Growth, which I call a poor man's sake, which is an excellent food. A little and often is the key to success, and slowly increasing the feeding so your filter can catch up. Pellet size is essential, that it's the correct size pellet for the correct size koi, so often overlooked. We will cover this in a later video. You need to subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date. The Japanese breeders don't change their water in their mud ponds, so why should I? Stagnant water kills koi. The extremely low stocking rate works in favour of the Japanese breeders, but you want to keep several koi in only 300 gallons, you need a jumbo filter for a jumbo koi. A trickle in of fresh water through a 3-pod water purifier on a trickle in feed and an overflow to waste is far better than doing huge water changes, which can affect the water temperature and the water parameters, which in turn stresses the koi. Stressed koi do not grow well. My trickle in is 1 litre per 10 minutes, 6 litres an hour, or 1,000 litres per week. The solution to pollution is dilution. A life support system or pond filter uses the hardness of the water in conversion of ammonia to nitrite to nitrate, so the water is slowly becoming more and more acidic. If left unchecked, it will cause a pH crash and all your koi will die, as they will be swimming in acidic water. It is essential to replace some of the hardness by water changes. As we are dealing with a small body of water with a large koi loading, it's even more essential, as slight water problems one day can turn into a major disaster the next day. So what you're saying is a fast dripping tap is the ideal for water changes, as it's very slow but constant and the amount of water builds up over time. Brilliant. Please support me by liking the video. This makes a huge difference to the YouTube ratings and who they push it out to. Okay, I see those paddle machines in the Japanese mud ponds. What are they for? Adding air in an extremely hot weather, the warmer the water, the less oxygen it holds. On my grow-on, there are 2 air bars, one inside the tank and one in the inlet to the Ultra Sieve. Ultra Sieve 3. This acts as an airlift to the sieve, and it's powered by a 70-litre air pump. Oxygen. The bacteria uses up 5 atoms of oxygen, converting ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. So it is also essential to add extra air to the pond. This can be done by air stones, a venturi, splash returns, etc. Koi need oxygen to process the food, and the warmer the water, the less oxygen it holds. Thank you for explaining why I need to do all these things. I will now have to change my koi grow-on plans drastically. The best tip I can give you is to think of it like building a house. All the bricks need to be in place before the building. The same is true if you want excellent growth. You need all the elements working together before the koi can grow. Next in the series, we will talk about how to select the best koi for growth. Ever wondered what makes a good koi to grow on? How do you select a koi with potential to grow? Then this is the video for you. In this video, I'll not only tell you the traits to look for, but why that trait is important to the growth of the koi. With the information in this video, you will be able successfully to choose the right koi to grow on, ensuring an outstanding growth in your koi. Stop chasing growth and start chasing size. What do you mean, stop chasing growth and start chasing size? Hi, I'm Richard. Well, if you select a big size, a young koi compared to its brothers and sisters, any small difference in size will be magnified into a huge difference as they get bigger. So you're saying the koi are selecting themselves as they are bigger than their siblings. I always say not all koi are born equal, as some koi have all the colours, pattern, body, sex, etc. But in the same spawning, there are runts of the spawning. They can only grow to what their genes dictate. So selecting a koi with the right genes is the #1 priority. A koi buddy of mine calls me a growth guru and says I grow big koi. But I always say I just provide the opportunities for the koi to grow and fill their potential. They do all the hard work by growing. That's my secret. Big fry will be big tosai, will be big nisai, will be big sansai, etc. So selecting the biggest fry helps enormously with our quest. DNA and genetics play the most important part in growing jumbo koi. So selecting a koi with the right genes is the #1 priority. That's okay because I'm going to buy my koi from a jumbo breeder, so it has a jumbo bloodline. There's a common myth that all koi from a jumbo bloodline breeder will become jumbo koi. Buying a koi from a jumbo breeder does not guarantee a jumbo koi. The golden rule is big koi have bigger fry, but even jumbo koi can spawn small koi. Look at the bell graph. All koi spawn a range of sizes of koi fry. I repeat, not all koi from a jumbo koi will become jumbo koi. So you need to look at the koi in front of you and decide for yourself. Has it the qualities I'm looking for? Is it bigger than its siblings? Do you like the pattern? Generally speaking, a bloodline of a koi who regularly reaches over 90 cm will be a safer bet than a koi that only ever reaches 75 cm. But not every koi from a 90 cm bloodline will have the potential to reach 90 cm. I see what you are saying. You would not try to breed a Shire horse from a Shetland pony. You would start with 2 Shire horses, and the same is true of koi. If you look at the bell graph, you can see that 95% of the koi will not grow well enough to warrant growing on to jumbo. They will grow, but they're not worth growing on. They will grow, and they're worth growing on, but they're just not worth pushing to jumbo. Out of the 5% left, only a few will have the qualities and the pattern to make it. If you look at the bell graph, only 2 out of the 27 koi of the ones I kept were worth pushing to jumbo. That does not mean that the rest are rubbish or they're not worth growing. They will be brilliant koi, just that it's not worth trying to grow jumbo koi from a koi that has genes limiting its growth. So it's a bit like a car that has a top speed of 70 miles an hour and you're trying to push it up to 120 miles per hour. It ain't gonna happen. So pellet size is very important, but it's often overlooked. So make sure you select the correct size pellet for your koi. Too small is fine, too big and your koi will starve. So what body traits do I look for in selecting a jumbo koi to grow on? Koi are not sharks. They cannot bite off chunks of koi food. They can only suck up food, so it has to be able to fit in their mouths if they're going to eat it. So a big mouth is very important, as they can eat bigger food and more of it. More food equals more growth. A big head to support the big mouth. I never realised why a big mouth was so important. Koi can only suck. It makes you appreciate teeth. I look for a coffin shape with a nice smooth line to the tail with no lumps, bumps or dents. A deep body with a strong, prominent backbone, with a pear-shaped body to carry all the weight. A strong tail muscle to propel the koi to the food quicker. It is, after all, a race to survive. All these attributes ensure that the koi can be first in the queue for food and suck up more food than their siblings, therefore grow quicker than the rest. But the koi must also have the appetite to match. If it has all the attributes and no appetite, it's not going to grow well. So try and see them feeding and see if your koi is first in the queue for food. If it is, it's a good sign. Jumbo koi fry are a must if you want to grow jumbo tosai, as they've already proved themselves better than their siblings. The art is in selecting big young koi with the potential to grow that will improve in growing on to a bigger size. The mistake is to think that all small koi are young koi. Not all small koi are young koi. Koi from the same spawning will vary greatly with differing growth rates. The younger koi, the faster the growth rates you can say. The growth rate is diminished by 50% each year. So if a koi grows to 30 cm in the first year, it will be 15 cm in the next year and 7.5 in the year after. This is a general rule and can change drastically depending on the environment that the koi is kept in. Unscrupulous dealers have been known to sell jumbo tosai, which are in fact slow-growing nisai or even sansai. Caveat emptor is the Latin for let the buyer beware comes to mind. This only comes to light when the expected growth rate is not achieved. Genuine jumbo will grow fast given the correct conditions. It is all about selecting the koi with the correct genes, body shape, skin quality and pattern. Select the koi that you like. We all like different koi for different reasons. After all, you're the one that's going to care for it and feed for it, so pick the koi that suits you. Sex does matter. Female koi are normally bigger than male koi, hence guaranteed female from the breeders. But this comes at a premium price. But females get egg-bound. This doesn't happen with male koi for some reason. What about some advice on koi colours? Male koi are normally more colourful, more intense colours, and also they don't get egg-bound. Benny or red, it is a case of what you see you get. You will not get more benny, but it can disappear if the koi is grown hard in poor light conditions. UV plays an important part in developing the benny. Now sumi or black, it is a case that it can develop, or it may be bus sumi, as a friend of mine calls it, forever coming but never arriving. So look for some sumi that's developed somewhere on the koi that indicates the quality of the sumi. Sumi is more a waiting game and can take 4 to 5 years to mature. Look for blue-grey patches under the skin, but check that there are some pure black sumi patches to indicate the sumi that will come up. It's not a guarantee that it will develop. Make sure that you've studied the bloodline and know how the sumi develops with that particular bloodline. Personally, I liked a balanced pectoral fins with Showa and Utsuri black in the base of the pectoral fins. You can tell a lot about a koi from its pectoral fins. There's even a separate video on the channel on it. Check the fins are the same shape and size, and the leading ray should have a smooth sweeping surface like the edge of a scimitar sword, not bent, stopped short or broken. Top tip: if you're buying online, don't buy from a photo, buy from the video. They're far harder to touch up. Videos are more representative of the koi you are buying. So to recap, a good appetite, a big mouth, a big head, a coffin shape, prominent backbone, tear-shaped body, strong tail muscle, good koi hunting. Ever struggled with growing koi big? Ever wondered how some people get outstanding growth in their koi? In this video we will look at the recipe for great koi growth. But please watch the video to the end. As with any recipe, if you miss out one ingredient, the result will change. Forget the butter in a cake mix and it will be a dense cake. Forget the raising agent and it will be as flat as a pancake. You get the message. You need to use all the ingredients for a recipe to work perfectly. And the same is true with koi. Before you even attempt to grow your koi, they must be parasite-free and in good health. But it is often overlooked. Ill koi do not grow well, as all the resources for growing are put into fighting the parasites or the illness. Do not bring a koi home from a dealer, throw it in a pond and try to grow it from day one. Place the koi in the pond and observe the koi and treat it if necessary. Once you're sure that the koi is healthy and parasite-free, then you can raise the temperature and start to grow on. Give the koi 7 days to get acclimatized to the new pond. So only try and grow on healthy, parasite-free koi. There are a number of essential requirements to good growth, which we have covered before. So check out the previous videos in this series. These are listed in order of importance. A mechanical filter, a life support system, or large mature pond filter, warm water, oxygen, fresh water, food, an auto feeder and your koi. My mechanical filter is an Ultra Sieve 3 to a pump to the koi's life support system, which is a 3-tier 600ml wide shower full of plastic and ceramic media. One thing I have done is to modify the spillway and round off the spillway edge so it's smooth, and I've also smoothed off the bottom edge of the spillway so that if the koi jump, the damage is kept to a minimum. It doesn't matter what type of filter you have, whether it's a moving bed or a shower, the choice is yours. What matters is how much you are going to be feeding your koi, which dictates how much filter media you need to process the waste the koi produce from the food. Let's do the maths. We want to go 3 40ml koi, so how much media do we need? 25 litres of Helex 13 treats 170 grams of koi food a day. So using the guide in the description, 3 koi at 40 cm weigh about 1 kilo, so require 300 grams a day each. or 900 grams a day total. So 6 times 25 is 150 litres of Helix 13. Once the media is mature, make sure there is a buffer, more media than you need. So if we relate this 150 litres of media to an easy pod, which has only 18 litres of media, but the manufacturers say it's good for 2,200 gallons, you could of course buy 9 easy pods to filter your 300 gallon pond with only 3 koi in. Koi keepers have been brainwashed by filter manufacturers saying that you don't need a big filter. You do! The biggest error koi keepers make, myself included, is the lack of filter media in their filters. This creates a huge problem with water parameters, and you will never reach a koi's full potential if you don't have enough filter media in your pond to keep the water in a first-class condition. If your filter media is insufficient for the amount of food you are feeding your koi, you will never grow the koi, as you will be always limited by the size of your filter and your pond water parameters. This, in my humble opinion, is the #1 limiting factor in growing koi. Your filter needs to be big enough to process all the waste from the koi and the amount of food you are feeding with some of the media spare. But your filter needs to be mature with plenty of thriving bacteria. You can add bacteria and gels and balls or both, but you must give it time to grow and mature. So a big, mature, healthy filter is essential. Jumbo koi require a jumbo filter. It is essential you monitor the water parameters so that you know where you are in the nitrogen cycle. I use Hannah pocket checkers, but they have their limitations. I use a filter mat in the sieve to catch the fines and any pellets in the sieve. If there are pellets in the sieve, I cut back on feeding as the koi haven't eaten all the food. If there is only waste, I can increase the feeding slowly. Bear in mind, any change in feeding and the filter will be playing catch up. So wait until the nitrite is dropping before you increase the feeding. Check your water parameters and treat any spike of ammonia with the 5 tips to save lives: remove, reduce, relieve, or dilute. All will help you keep your readings down without reducing or stopping the feeding. I know that it's only 4, but you need to watch the video. None of them mean you have to reduce feeding. So what's the best temperature for koi growth and filter performance? So 24°C is the magic temperature for koi growth. The higher the temperature, you will struggle to have enough oxygen in the water. Bring your water up to 24°C slowly, 1°C every couple of days, so that your koi can adjust slowly to the rise in water temperature, and the filter can adjust to the faster metabolic rate of the koi. As the water temperature rises, increase feeding, but keep a close eye on your water parameters and treat where necessary. Likewise, increase the oxygen into the pond. Everything in the pond uses oxygen. The nitrogen cycle uses up 5 atoms in the conversion, and warm water holds less oxygen. This is why a lot of koi die in hot summer, where there is not enough oxygen in the water for the koi to survive. Make sure you have a fast dripping tap of fresh water going in through a 3-pod water purifier and overflowing to waste. This will keep the pH up and dilute any pollution. As the saying goes, the solution to pollution is dilution. Nitrite seems especially stubborn to grow, so add some night out, pond balls or gels. Make sure you increase feeding in small amounts so your filter can adjust to the new feeding level. Wait until the nitrate level is falling, as this lags behind ammonia. Koi are not sharks. They cannot bite off chunks of food. They can only suck up food, so it has to be able to fit in their mouths if they're going to eat it. So pellet size is very important, but it's often overlooked. So make sure you select the correct size food for the size of your koi. Too small is fine. Too big and your koi could die of starvation. If you check the pellet size in the video, you will see a range of pellet sizes in the auto feeder to suit all the koi in my pond. A Fishmate P7000 is an auto feeder set on a frequent feed setting, set to deliver 10 feeds between 7 AM and 8 PM at 2 feeds each, so approximately 20 grams a feed. So 200 grams a day or 1400 grams a week. I know there are other auto feeders, some better, some worse. All I'm saying is these work for me. The choice is yours. You are what you eat, which is also true of koi. The best food is sake akari balance, which is my go-to food, or growth. If you can't afford sake, go for Cuttlebrook Premium Growth, which I call a poor man's sake, which is an excellent food, in my humble opinion. A little and often is the key to success, and slowly increasing the feeding so the filter can catch up. Use the guide to work out the weight of the koi, and then you can feed 3% body weight a day at 24C for good growth. 3 koi in 300 gallons is a good number to start with, as they are company for each other, and carp are a shoal fish. Check your water parameters regularly and observe your koi feeding. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.